What's going on, Dragon Ball Z fans? Welcome back. My name is UnrealEntGaming, and I'm back once again, joined by the creator of Dragon Ball New Age, my good friend Malik Terry, over from MalikStudios, and today we're going to be discussing our thoughts and opinions on Dragon Ball Super. So without any further ado, my friend Malik, you have the floor. Welcome back. How you been? Let me know right now what are your thoughts, because after speaking to you about it here and there, you have a mixed reaction about this. You don't really seem that excited, but yet at the same time you are. So lay it on me, man. What are your thoughts on this new series? Like, what do you expect to see?
Well, I'm glad to be back. It's always good to be here on the podcast and everything. But yeah, I do have a very mixed opinion about Dragon Ball Super. I think, like a lot of people, when the announcement came out, we all had a shred of doubt because, we've heard for the last, like, it seems like 10 or more years that there's a new Dragon Ball series new coming out, Dragon Ball Hoshi, Dragon Ball EF. So when it first got announced, I already had a shred of doubt, and then I talked to a couple of the guys over at Kenzenshu, and when they confirmed it, my initial reaction wasn't all that optimistic. And, I read into it a little bit, and, well, the reason why I'm so tentative about Dragon Ball Super is because I look at it like an artist would look at a painting. There's a saying that too many brush strokes can spoil a painting. And
Why
I'm
is that?
starting to think that, well, because it gets to a point where, an artist can only do so much with with an image that they're doing. Take me, for example. I can only put so many pen strokes on an image before it becomes one pen stroke too many and it actually ruins the image. And for me, granted, yes, I am very excited for a new Dragon Ball series, but looking at it from an artist and a storyteller standpoint, man, it seems like they're looking for every little thing, every little crevice of time that they can just shove something into. That's what they're trying to do. And for me, it's like I said, it's like putting too many brush strokes on a painting. Battle of Gods and Revival of F. I was happy with those, and I was just like, man, if they left it off on Revival of F, that'd be awesome. A great way to send off the series with some high-quality animation, good story, Akira Toriyama actually being able to come out and, add more to this universe. And then, we get an announcement from Toei Animation that he has a plot that was given to him by Akira Toriyama. So it's a Akira Toriyama devised plot, but it's not written by Akira Toriyama. It's a plot by Akira Toriyama, but written by Toei Animation. And they're shoving it into the other half of that 10-year time block that really doesn't need to be fleshed out.
Well, I mean, ever since it was announced,
fine. Huh?
I was gonna say, ever since it was announced, a lot of people were wondering. Well, I mean, it's obviously gonna take place after Majin Buu, and it stated that it was gonna take place after Revival of F2. So does that mean like the final?
No, that's not right.
No, it's
It
not.
doesn't take place after Revival of F. It takes place after Buu, but before Battle of Gods.
I don't know. I mean, I was reading on Saiyan Island that it's going to incorporate the Revival of F mechanics, because they were thinking about how there's going to be a new enemy that's going to be stronger than Buu, obviously, which we don't know who. Right.
Which is another reason why I'm so, like, blown away by this whole thing in a negative light.
So you're not that excited about this? How?
I'm excited because it's a new Dragon Ball kind of thing, but again, we're already, what do you call it? Battle of Gods and Revival of F are already messing with what was established in the manga. Now, you know me, Alex. I am a manga purist. For all the great fights and everything that you see from the anime of Dragon Ball and the movies and everything like that, I've always been a manga purist. I love the manga. Above all things else in Dragon Ball, I love the manga. I mean, maybe it's because I'm an artist myself and, I take after that, but I've always been a manga purist. So when they're coming out with all these, this new show, granted, we don't know what's going to happen with Dragon Ball Super yet, but Battle of Gods, it didn't really mess with the end of Dragon Ball Z all that much, but Revival of F kind of really throws it into a tailspin. Revival of F actually conflicts with the end of the manga, and for me, that just bothers me. And now we're going to get a new series with a new villain who's stronger than Boo and stronger than Frieza, it's been said. And I'm like, well, where the fuck has this guy been? Where is this new villain coming from? What is all this
maybe
horseshit?
his power.
Now,
His power has
but
been
the thing is like with Revival of F. Revival of F screws up the end of Dragon Ball Z so much. If Goku is that powerful, if he is strong enough that his Super Saiyan form equals Super Saiyan God, what the hell kind of challenges a person who isn't even as strong as Kid Buu at the time of the tournament?
No, that we don't really know because we don't even know if they're going to incorporate that final episode into its, entirety or not. Like, who's to say the World Martial Arts...
It doesn't matter if the episode isn't incorporated. It happened in the manga.
Well, manga or not, Akira could always change that up for us because, I mean, we really don't know what kind of vision he has. And again, going back to what you said, like, where was this mysterious enemy? Remember what Beerus said. There are beings out there in different realities that possess...
Now that's the other thing. Granted, we don't know if he's going to do anything with all these alternate universes, but for me, I don't even consider these alternate universes with these with the other gods of destruction and all that crap. I don't even consider those. Everybody looks at that as what is going to be or whatever, and I like I said, I don't even consider it because there's a lot of things that get said in Dragon Ball, but they never get expanded upon. Or they get expanded upon like it's going on now, where something very obscure is mentioned and then it doesn't get expanded upon until 12 years later. Like when the manga was originally in serialization, and Old Kai says he was put in the Z-Sword by a villain who was almost as terrible as Boo. And then we find out after Battle of Gods that it was Beerus who put the Old Kai in to the Z-Sword. But there's a lot of things that get mentioned in all of Dragon Ball that never ever get expanded upon ever before.
And need I note, by the way, it was actually said that Beerus was the one that ordered Frieza to destroy Planet Vegeta.
Well, that was established a long time ago.
That's actually pretty interesting because does that mean that in this new series Vegeta finds out and probably goes after Beerus for that?
I wouldn't go that far.
Because remember, he has this new ability. Why not be able to put himself to the test?
Well, that's the other thing, is that Whis already mentions that even though Goku and Vegeta have reached this new level of power, it would take both of them to fight Beerus.
That's very interesting. And what about this new enemy? Like, do you think there's going to be an enemy that's going to come along who's possibly going to be stronger than Beerus?
I don't know if he's going to be stronger than Beerus. It seems to me like they put Beerus and Whis in, like, if I was going to break it down into tiers, they put them into, like, the Uber tier. Beerus and Whis are, like, to borrow a phrase from the movie, they're in a whole different dimension. They're in a dimension unto themselves in terms of power. So, barring another god of some sort, I don't think they're going to come out with a villain who it rivals, Beerus or Whis. You could possibly create a villain who rivals Beerus, but one who's stronger than Whis, I doubt that.
And why is it that you doubt that? Is it because you feel as if nobody from that respective universe, yeah, I can see your point because Whis would hold a candle towards anybody, but we're talking about alternative dimensions, like perhaps.
But that's the thing. It's like I said, I don't even consider these alternate universes because I don't consider myself to know everything about Dragon Ball. I have a vast, deep knowledge of the series, but even I don't know everything. But I could say with a high degree of certainty that the alternate universes, I don't expect them to ever come into play.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's understandable. So, um, obviously there were 26 episodes announced. I believe it's just for like the first quarter. 26
Well,
episodes
that's the
so
other
far.
thing is that they're saying that they're only going to do these 26 episodes and then see how
Yeah,
it
yeah,
goes.
generalization of the
Now,
audience.
granted, with the with the renewed interest in Dragon Ball and this like renaissance of Dragon Ball that we're kind of going through right now, it's more than likely that they will get renewed for at least a second season. But for me, if they was just to make these 26 episodes, and have like a really good storyline for just those 26 episodes, that wouldn't bother me a bit.
Perhaps maybe these 26 episodes, like you said, are before Battle of Gods. Maybe this is like a sub villain that, battles the Z fighters before they step into the bout with
Because
Beerus.
what I've read, you're reading, conflicting reports that say that it takes place during the Revival of F story arc, but I've read reports that it takes place about 2 years after the fight with Majin Buu.
That's interesting. Well, I
You
mean, all
know,
right. So going back to what you said about seasons, though, do you think that even if the 26 episodes does close off the season, that season two is going to be featured after Revival of F, especially with the overwhelming fan demand, with people
it
loving.
could be. I mean, there's no telling what they're going to do with
So,
it.
all right. So from a fan standpoint, if by some chance they do this series and it completely eradicates the World Martial Arts Tournament, episodes with Oob and whatnot, and it has no tie-ins with that, something else happens, how would you feel about that? Like, would you feel relieved that Oob is no longer within that realm, or would you feel like kind of like weird about it? It's like, wait a minute, so what's going on? What's
Well, if this is the way that I would look at it, if Dragon Ball Super it like somehow erases that final, the final chapters of Dragon Ball Z, which I don't expect it to. But if it does, then for me, it will forever be like Dragon Ball GT. It would be a side story
really?
anime. Yeah, because the manga for me is irrefutable. You can't do anything to change the manga. So if you create an anime that says, well, the final chapter of the manga never happened, I was like, okay, alternate universe or alternate timeline. It will never ever be canon in my eyes, and I will, like all the GT haters who came out in droves with the announcement of Dragon Ball Super, I will forever belittle Dragon Ball Super and call it nothing more than an alternate timeline.
And what are your thoughts about like this? Because since Toei's doing it, do you see this going down the GT route? Because I mean, it does have certain people worried. I mean,
Well,
I'm a little
well,
worried
this is
too.
the thing. Dragon Ball Super has Akira Toriyama is more involved in it. Apparently, he's done a grand majority of the character designs, and the plot was actually devised by him.
Okay.
Now, with Dragon Ball GT, he did devise the main cast. He created the logo, some of the machines. He created some of the aliens that they saw, as they were trekking across the universe. And I believe the very first part of the plot of Dragon Ball GT was also a brainchild concept of Akira Toriyama. So what gets it with me is that people are scrambling, saying that Dragon Ball GT is now forever erased because of Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball Super is immediately canon because Akira Toriyama is involved in it, when he has ever so slightly a bit more involvement than he had with GT. It's another GT just in another timeline, and people are just considering it canon.
Oh man.
Now, for me, the first part of Dragon Ball GT up until about the middle of the Baby Saga, up until about the middle of that, it felt really Dragon Ball to me. I mean, I really really enjoyed those particular episodes
You
about
enjoyed those?
yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
enjoyed the first half of Dragon Ball GT up until about, like I said, about halfway into the Baby Saga. About halfway up until before he arrived on Earth and started infecting everybody on Earth. I enjoyed those parts of Dragon Ball GT. I really did. And it was after that, it was when season 2 started rolling around, you could see that they weren't putting their best foot forward, and that's where the story really went downhill. But the first part of Dragon Ball GT, for me anyway, was actually really enjoyable.
GT will always be the fucking abomination for me. They kept Goku as a kid, you know that. The only interesting villain that had any story to him, that had like charisma, was Baby. Like the other ones were just so plain. So that's why I'm hoping that whatever
Well,
it is
that's what
they
I
pull
said.
out, they actually do it the
Baby
right
and the
way.
first part of the drag, because you got to look at it this way. GT was not made to be a sequel to Dragon Ball Z. They wrote GT with the intent to make it feel more like Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, with some of the action of Dragon Ball Z. If you go back and watch the original Dragon Ball, yeah, there's like a lot of fighting, but a lot of it is very hokey and comedic, just like Dragon Ball GT. The very thing that a lot of people criticize GT for, its hokey comedy and all that, was a staple of the original Dragon Ball, which is another thing that baffles me why so many people hate it. They'll defend Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z movies. They defend these horribly written movies, but refuse
And
to
which
admit
movies are these?
GT exists.
Wait, hold on.
But
Which movies are these that you're talking about? Any specifics?
the Broly movies, the
Uh-oh.
Fusion Reborn movies.
Uh-oh. Man, let me just tell you, you may have started a war in the comments between
People
GT
know
fans and
my
Z fans and
stance.
now super fans and oh my
Dude,
god.
people know my stance on the Dragon Ball movies. Now, I'm not even going to lie. There are a bunch of the Dragon Ball Z movies that I do legitimately enjoy. I really enjoyed the Dead Zone. The Dead Zone movie used to be my favorite Dragon Ball Z movie of all time. I
Okay.
loved that movie. Because for me, that felt like the perfect branching point between the original Dragon Ball story and Dragon Ball Z. It felt like Dragon Ball, but you could see that it was starting to move into a more action-oriented direction.
Right.
I used to be a super huge fan of the Tree of Might, and I actually really liked the World's Strongest. Those first 3 movies for me were really, really good. And in my early days of fandom, yeah, I did like the Broly movie, but as I've said numerous times before, I'm an English major. I went into college with the intent to write stories and do what I do now for a living. So for me, when I look at Broly and then I see just this huge amount of support that he has, I'm like, how, like, everybody wants to complain about Mary Sue characters that are flat and have no personality or anything, yet they'll just leap onto and praise Broly for being this ultimate uber tier badass who's just psycho. And I'm like, he's every horrible Dragon Ball fan character that ever has been is Broly.
Damn. Damn.
Now, like the Fusion Reborn movie, I'm not even gonna lie, the Fusion Reborn movie is really, really fun. It's a very, very entertaining movie. All the Dragon Ball Z movies are very entertaining, but people take them way too seriously.
I mean, so at the end of the day, where do you see the direction of Super going? Like, do you think it's going to go down and be better than Dragon Ball Z? Do you think it's going to be better than GT? Do you think it's going to be worse than GT?
Well,
How do you see
well,
this
this is
going
the
down?
thing. Because it's the same animation company that did Battle of Gods: A Revival of F. From an animation point, it's probably going to be the most beautiful Dragon Ball Z series we have ever seen.
Better than
The
Attack on
animation
Titan
is going to
graphics, yes
be
or no?
second to none. Bar none, it will be the most pretty Dragon Ball series of all time.
Will it be better than Attack on Titan animation? Because that
I
has some pretty
wouldn't.
good
I
stuff.
don't know if I would go that far because Attack on Titan's animation is really, really good, but it's going to be a very, very pretty series.
Okay, that's
But I can't speak too much more on that. Other than I believe it's just going to be a very beautiful looking animation series. Now, from a story standpoint, honestly, I'm looking at it. I'm trying to look at it from an unbiased perspective. I can't, I don't know how it's going to turn out story wise because we have no information on this. We're just heading into this. We're speculating and everything. But I mean, if they have a good story, if it's something that is cohesive and will fit into the series, and it doesn't, it just if as long for me as it doesn't muck up the story as I know it, then I'll have absolutely no problems with Dragon Ball Super. But if it is anything because I'm on Facebook and I'm a member of a couple of Dragon Ball Z fan groups on Facebook, if it's anything like the horrible fan fiction ideas that people are trying to throw out, oh, I would really dig this if they did this with the series. Maybe we need to have the son of Broly come and train with Goku, or maybe this new bad guy needs to wish back every bad guy that there ever was. As long as they don't do anything like that, I have no problems with Dragon Ball Super.
Okay, I mean, very, very interesting conversation. So let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys think that Toei's going to create another GT catastrophe? Do you guys think that this is going to be as good as they say it is? Just let us know what you guys think. Once again, check out MalikStudios, guys, if you guys want to see some awesome DBNA stuff, including, I believe it's Volume 1, 2, and 3 out now, and some really awesome artwork as well.
Yeah, actually, if I could break in for really quick, I want to. Is it okay if I address some of my fans and stuff really
Go
quick? I have listened to a lot of my fans. I had a lot of people who really enjoyed like the large volumes of Dragon Ball New Age volumes 1, 2, and 3, the 8x10 like big book editions that I had. But I have listened. A lot of people complained about that, so I have listened. The I believe they are 7x8.5 or something like that, 5x8.5, something like that. Manga-sized editions of Dragon Ball New Age Volume 1 will soon be released at the end of the week, and soon to follow will be reprints of Volume 2, Volume 3. So if you guys weren't really feeling the whole 8x10 kind of thing, you could look for those manga-sized editions coming out soon. Hop on my Dragon Ball New Age Facebook. As soon as they are live, I'll be posting the link there. And if I could say one other thing, if you guys do enjoy Dragon Ball New Age, if you enjoy the little snippets of the original projects that I'm going to be putting out pretty soon, do please check out my Patreon and support me on there. If you guys are familiar with Kickstarter or anything like that, Patreon's just kind of like that, except it's on a monthly basis. If you donate as little as $1 a month, then you get to see Dragon Ball New Age pages a week before they go live on the internet and everywhere else. History of Trigger 3 is posted up there right now. You'll get to see like background sketches of stuff that won't be posted up on the internet, like brand new exclusive art for the 10th anniversary edition data book, which I haven't even come out with an official explanation on what all that is yet, so that's groundbreaking right there. But you'll see sketches. You get access to a Dropbox folder where you can get all the full-sized versions of my finished Photoshop document pages that don't even have the letters and stuff on them yet. There's just all kinds of stuff. And then even later this month, there's going to be 2 brand new tiers of rewards, $30 a month and $50 a month. For the $30 a month people, you're not only going to get all of the other rewards that you get with all of my other donations, but you'll also get a signed manga-sized version of Dragon Ball New Age Volume 1. Or if you donate the $50 a month, this is huge, you not only get a signed copy of every edition of Dragon Ball New Age that's currently in print, but you're also put on a subscriber list, and you'll get a signed copy of every volume that comes out from now on. So, I just wanted to throw that out there. I'll be explaining a lot more of that on the Facebook and on my Dragon Ball New Age DeviantArt page. Please, if you guys are fans of mine, if you want to support independent artists, please give my Patreon a look. It's patreon.com/MalikStudios. Please, 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 if you guys can afford even even $1 a month, it helps immensely.
And if you guys want to support me in my journey to fight Beerus, you guys can donate 1 senzu bean per day to prevent me from dying and having eternal bleeding. And that's if somebody can find senzu beans out there. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching once again. Like I said, we hope you guys enjoyed a very different conversation here because Malik just I didn't really think he had that opinion about the new series, but as he said, we really don't know much right now until it actually drops. So the first 26 episodes are going to be very interesting, guys. So once again, thank you all for watching. Once again, stay tuned for more. And the Dragon Ball Nation here, and we'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.